Hi, Craig.
Hi, Greg.
He's not gonna respond.
I know,
But
but I haven't seen him all week.
yeah, I haven't either. I missed him.
I'm neutral about him.
He should be okay today. My Wi-Fi is a bit better.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with it last week. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think people are gonna get you for Christmas?
Hopefully just cash.
Yeah. Or
I really don't.
what do you want for Christmas? That's a better question.
Oh, you mean what do I want for people to get me?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. I've literally, I don't even know. I mean, honestly, I don't even like register getting gifts anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I just don't. I don't know. It's just getting gifts has always been such an oddity to me, I guess, because
Yeah, I guess that.
it's just such a specific part of every year. It just kind
Mm-hmm.
of throws you off a little bit, I guess. But okay,
Yeah.
well, while I think on it, what would you want for Christmas?
Well, I made an Amazon wish list, and I figured that was the easiest way to tell my family what I want.
Yeah.
Because I just made it and I sent the link to them
Mhm.
because like my 65-year-old grandma is like, "Hey Ethan, what do you want for Christmas?" Won't understand what I mean when I tell her the Criterion Collection edition of Come and See, which is a
Yeah.
Russian war movie from 1973,
Yeah.
or I think it's 73, something like that. But very good movie. I've been wanting to watch it,
Mhm.
but also it's a lot to remember.
Well, I mean, at least they're like giving you that option. My mom, she said if I want any Christmas presents, I have to write a letter to Santa.
That's so fucking stupid.
I said I'm not going to do that. And she said, "All right, then you're not getting any presents." And I said, "Okay." And then she got mad. So now I'm going to do it.
I mean, to be fair though, you should. I can't believe there's still Santa deniers out there. He is
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, so is the Tooth Fairy.
No, Tooth Fairy is fucking stupid, but Santa's where it's at.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, but she really did say that, and so now it's like, all right.
Yeah. I got your gift today.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's
It's
gonna be cool.
yeah, it's kind of two parts in one.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, is it a
Because I was just gonna get you one part, and then I saw the other part when I was getting the first part, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get him that too.
It must be nice to have money.
Yeah. It's okay. I got paid today, so that's why.
Hey, but soon I'll have money.
Yeah. I spent probably way too much money on gifts.
Probably,
Like
yeah.
I ordered some gifts off of Amazon for my mom, my brother, and Kate, and I spent
Uh-huh.
like $70.
Who's Kate?
My friend Kate, she's a film major at NC State. We watch movies together. We've been friends since like February.
You didn't get anything for your dad?
Oh yes, I did. I got to the at the store today. I'm just
Oh,
talking about what I got off of Amazon.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I got my dad's present at the store today.
I gotcha. Very cool.
Then I haven't gotten Seth's yet.
You realize that like most of your friends aren't going to be able to get you stuff in return because most of us don't have jobs, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Season of giving, Alex.
Well, I mean,
Like, give me all your fucking money.
I don't have any money.
Hi, welcome back to God. What are we called? That's a wrap. I almost
That's a
said pretty much
wrap.
it. That's a wrap. Yeah.
We don't want to get sued, Ethan. You better simmer down a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry, Eric and Jacob. Pretty much it.
Don't
But
stop saying the name.
I can say whatever I want. Um, but anyway, so you might notice that Seth isn't here today. He's busy.
He got hit by a truck, so
Yeah, he's busy fixing the truck.
that he got hit by.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You remember that scene from The Boys where Maeve drops down in front of the truck?
Oh yeah, and then she's like, "Hey, don't worry, I got it." Puts on her backwards hat, her overalls, grabs a big monkey wrench, and says,
Yeah.
"I'll just," and smacks the truck a couple of times. Yeah, I remember that scene.
Yeah, that's exactly what Seth's doing right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So best of luck to him. So yeah, Seth isn't here, but today's episode is going to be all about video games because we alternate them every other week. Last week's was about movies. Next week will be about movies. This week is all about video games. So, Alex, we're going to start off with something I definitely didn't copy from Triple Jump. It's a segment called What We Playing, where we just talk about the games that we've been playing recently. So, you go first.
I go first.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Recently,
Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry. I forgot to mention, I've got Alex here with me. I'm Ethan. This is Alex. And
Alex.
like I said, Seth isn't here. So, yeah.
Seth's dead to us now.
Yeah. So, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Most of the games that I've been playing have been on the Switch recently just because they've been on sale. I've been wanting to play them, and I've pretty much played all the other triple games I've wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing Animal Crossing New Horizons, and it was really hyped up, and I didn't think it would live up to the hype. And it did. It's actually very charming. It's not, I mean, I think that people who don't understand what the game is about would think that the hype is too much, but just knowing what they're going for and whatnot, I just think they nailed it. It's very charming. It's very relaxing. It's just a jump in, mess around for an hour or two and then go do something else. I mean, it's really chill.
Nice. Yeah,
Okay.
I tried the 3DS Animal Crossing. Didn't really like it. I've got friends that loved the new Animal Crossing. I've watched a lot of gameplay of it. Still don't really like it. It's just not a style for me, but I appreciate people that do like it. But not for me.
Do you appreciate them though?
Yeah, I do. I appreciate you.
Do you?
Yeah, that's why I got you a gift.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't need to roast me like that immediately.
Yeah.
We have a little bit more back and forth first. Jesus. What about you?
What have I been playing? I've been playing a couple of different games because back about a week ago, when the Steam sale was going on, I bought a couple games off of Steam just to try out. And then of course I've still got my Xbox games that I'm playing. So the games I got off of Steam, I got Hitman Blood Money. I got Crypta the Necrodancer. And I got what else did I buy? Oh, I got a demo of a game called Ghost Runner.
Oh, and?
Yeah, so I'll talk about those and then I'll move on to the Xbox games. Yeah, so the demo for Ghost Runner, I was a bit skeptical because I didn't hear a ton about it, and I was worried if my computer would run it, and it ran it really well. Surprisingly with like no input lag because I connected my controller, which is a rarity, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's super fast paced, really difficult, but it's a lot of fun. It's like if you blend the mechanics of something like Titanfall with melee combat, because you don't have a gun, you have a sword, but you can do wall runs, you can do like teleportation. The main mechanic of the game is you can freeze time, or at least really slow down time in midair, and pivot around the spot where you started.
Okay.
So like if somebody like fires a bullet at you, you can freeze time, and like kind of move out of the way in midair, and then dash toward them.
Okay.
It's a really cool concept. Yeah, and I would have bought the game, but the game is relatively new, so it's a bit expensive.
Plus, it'd probably be kind of hard to run on your hardware, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean the demo ran really well, but I don't know. But I might get it on Xbox. We'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been playing that. I played a game called BPM Bullets Per Minute.
Okay.
Because I bought it. I kind of bought into the hype for that game. I heard a lot of critics like praising it, and I bought it. And it's not that it's bad. It's just that it doesn't run very well on my laptop. And the input lag on it is really bad. And I cannot play that game on keyboard and mouse. Not with my keyboard, at least.
Yeah.
So I played it for about 45 minutes, got tired of it, and returned it. But the gameplay had a really cool concept. It's like it's a rhythm-based first-person shooter. where you can only reload and shoot and jump and dash on the beat. And then the higher your rhythm score, the higher damage you do.
Mhm.
But the thing about it also, it's a procedurally generated dungeon crawler.
Oh.
So that was another thing. Was like, I died, but I have to start this over again. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
not a genre I'm used to.
Mhm.
Which brings me to the last Steam game I got, which is Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Yeah.
And that's another rhythm-based game. It's a top-down, also a dungeon crawler.
Mhm.
But it being top-down kind of helps things.
Yeah.
But that one runs really, really well on my computer. It also doesn't require a mouse. It literally only requires like the WASD keys.
Yeah.
And then like a couple secondary keys that you can program yourself.
Mhm.
So yeah, you can move anytime, but your score will go down if you don't do it on the beat. So, and like by everything I mean everything. Moving, opening chests, healing, attacking, it's all gonna
No.
be on the beat.
Okay.
And it's really cool. And it's like built like a grid. But the really cool thing about it that I liked is you can import your own songs.
Oh.
Yeah, so like each level has 3 stages and then a boss.
Mhm.
So like I went into the settings and it's super easy. Super easy. I went into the settings and for level 1, world 1 or whatever, instead of clicking default, I went in and I dragged in a file, boss bitch by uh God, what's her name? I don't know. You remember that song from Birds of Prey?
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah,
remember all of them.
yeah, yeah, that song.
Yeah.
I dragged in that one and I put it in, and it was really cool. And I also put in "Toxic" by Kesha,
Mhm.
or no, Britney Spears, not Kesha. And I put that in, so it was really cool to be able to fight alongside Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like I
She's
wish I could in real life,
yeah, she's always with us.
in mind and spirit.
Yes.
Um, yeah, R.I.P. R.I.P. Britney Spears.
She's not no, she's not dead. She's fine.
Yeah, rest in peace. But
No, but she's okay.
so I've been playing that a lot. It's brutally hard though.
Uh,
But yeah, so I've been playing that, and then on my Xbox, I've been playing more of Prey.
uh-huh.
I came back from Michigan, turned on Dark Souls, and got to the second boss and gave up. Because it's so fucking hard. It's so
Yeah.
difficult. Like, and unfair to an extent. But so I gave up on that, and I'm doing the New Game Plus run of Prey
Okay.
with and I'm trying to get the third rarest achievement in the game, which is
Mhm.
kill every human being on the spaceship.
Oh, wow.
And the space station is huge, so I'm trying to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's very cool.
Yeah. So Creative Cloud updated. I just got a notification. All right.
Yeah, you should
So
leave that in.
I might. We'll see. Yeah, so we're gonna move on to question 1,
Okay.
which is, what is your least favorite gameplay mechanics? For example, like if you see a cool game, it's got an awesome story, all that stuff, but playing it you just can't mesh with or immediately turned off by a specific mechanic or something like that.
Do you have
So
anything in mind?
yes, I do.
You,
So
you
for
go.
me, any game. Let's see. What did I think? It's not so much mechanic, but more so any game where the map is just like you open up the map and there's objective markers on the map, but there's just so many side quests and objective markers and collectibles.
Mhm.
Uh, like a lot of the earlier Assassin's Creeds and later Assassin's Creed games, just a lot of them in general, have that problem that I just can never mesh with.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just so much to take in, and it's not balanced like it is in, say, Breath of the Wild, Where
Mhm.
Breath of the Wild has a ton of side quests, but you open up the map and it doesn't look overwhelming. It looks manageable, and each location has something new.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, an actual mechanic. I've heard a lot of people talk about this question on like other podcasts and videos and stuff, and something that always comes up is weapon destructibility. I don't mind weapon destructibility actually.
No, I love it. Actually, I think that it
I wouldn't go so far as
encourages.
to say I love it, but yeah.
Oh no, well, let me tell you why I love it. It encourages strategic play.
Mm.
I don't like putting in a lot of time to something without having to develop strategies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like RPGs, and that's why I'm glad, like, for example, Cyberpunk is getting really good reviews.
Yeah.
Specifically for things like, shooting mechanics and whatnot. Because that's what everybody was ready to jump on them for that. But then it turned out that it was just fine.
Yeah, I was worried about Cyberpunk shooting mechanics.
Well, lots of people were being very negative about it before it even came out.
Yeah, I wasn't being negative about it. I was just worried, just because
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red had never done a FPS before.
Well, but it's seeming like that. It's seeming like it turned out just fine.
Yeah.
But it's like every game that puts you into some sort of role allows you to strategize.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that if it's kind of like why I want them to switch up the Pokemon games to a different sort of actually, yeah, Pokemon is the gameplay mechanic I'll focus on for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love Pokemon and I love the games. But I'm tired of the new stuff being that same switch up mechanic because there's no strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You just level up your creatures until they reach until they have a certain attack that's the most powerful. Then you just keep using that powerful attack.
Yeah.
Whereas if let's say you were fighting as the Pokemon that you're training, you would have to develop strategies on when to use combos. There'd be a real back and forth instead of just 1-2 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
And that in essence is why I like the weapon breaking system that Breath of the Wild has, and Minecraft has, because when you're in a pinch and then your weapon breaks, you really have to get creative.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of games rely. I think a lot of games rely too heavily on oh well, now here you go. This is the biggest, most powerful weapon you can ever get. Now be unstoppable, And I think that's just kind of, it's like, especially because it's not always like Breath of the Wild where you have to work really hard to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, if you just grind, you can do that, and then you're just plowing through everything. And I don't really think that's fun.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Like I've played, like take for example, because we're talking about Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time. I love Ocarina of Time. Fantastic game. The first Zelda game I ever played, because I played it on 3DS.
Yeah.
I love Ocarina of Time, but once you get the Master Sword,
Uh-huh.
like in terms of fighting enemies and stuff, you don't really have anywhere else to go except for if you want the Giant's Knife later on in the game, which is optional.
Yeah.
Like you have the Master Sword, your Kid Sword, and then the Giant's Knife, which is optional. Whereas like Breath of the Wild, yeah, your weapons do break, but also it really encourages you to change up your gameplay and think like, I've been in so many combat situations in Breath of the Wild, and I'm fighting, and all of a sudden, shit, my broadsword just broke, and I don't have any more. I can either A, run away and just start shooting with arrows to pick off the survivors. B, switch to a really strong weapon that doesn't have shield capabilities. Or C, just start like dropping bombs and like using my runes like all around until I can figure out a viable strategy.
Yeah.
It allows me to, strategize and think on my feet instead of just circle A, circle A, circle A.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, so I agree, and that even there's been like innovations to weapon durability in recent years, I think. Like in terms of like I was saying I was playing Prey. There's a mode on hard mode where you can turn on weapon durability, and if the durability gets too low, your guns won't like just break in your hands,
Mhm.
but the lower the durability gets, the more often they'll jam. Or like the more often they'll stop working.
Yeah.
And you can repair it by finding spare parts, but then using those spare parts on your weapons means you can't use it for other things in the game.
Mhm.
And Prey is an RPG, so it makes sense it has that. But like Doom Eternal, for example, obviously there's no weapon durability, but
Yeah.
you run out of ammo so fast. So you
Mhm.
really got to get good with all the weapons and thinking on your feet there too. The Doom 2016, once you get the super shotgun, you're unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I just thought of a mechanic I really, really hate.
Okay.
It's what is it? I'm trying to think of like the right term for it. I guess weight limits in games. Like
Yeah,
uh
dude. Oh my
it can
god.
be, yeah, like sometimes it can be used well, but for the most part, it really just comes down to like numbers. Like, you're playing Skyrim or Dark Souls and you pick up a plate and
Mhm.
oh, you're one over the weight limit. Now you can barely roll, or
Yeah.
now you can't move. When
Yeah,
before I was wearing full steel armor and I was running.
that's the big thing that like I love Skyrim, and that's the one thing that needs to. And like I get having the weight limit,
Hmm.
just don't let me walk. Don't at least let me walk. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and it
You
was
can.
really bad in Oblivion. Like it was even worse in Oblivion because I never played Skyrim, but I played Oblivion and I played Fallout.
You never
Uh,
played Skyrim?
no, I just because I played Oblivion and
Oh, it's not the same
I know it's not, but I played
at all.
Oblivion and I was like, I'm not really into this world, so I tried Fallout. Then I was like, maybe I just don't like Bethesda games, so
But
I haven't. One.
Skyrim is a complete breed of its own.
Yeah, so
You
I've
get, I
heard.
mean, you can't, but you can't. Well, you can't say you don't like Bethesda games and never pick up Skyrim.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah,
know. Yeah.
I'll play Fallout 76 and judge Bethesda based off of
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. Play their online game that everybody hates, and then do that one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or just wait for Elder Scrolls 6.
it's kind of funny how Fallout 76 is garbage, but it still got more players than Avengers.
Yeah, they really messed that one up. I don't know whose idea it was to make them all missions instead of a intense story mode option like we got with Spider-Man that literally every single person in the world wanted.
Avengers dropped to 1,000 players after a month and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, they've lost so much money.
Hmm. Which, like,
So
on one hand, I'm like, oh, that sucks that we're not going to get, a good Avengers game now for a while. On the other hand, that's what you get for trying to do live service. Don't
I
do
don't
live
know
service.
I don't know what they were thinking. I mean,
I hate live service.
that's just that's just not what people would have wanted. I mean, that'd be
Yeah.
like that'd be like making the next Elder Scrolls being just completely mission based, you know?
Ugh.
It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you've heard of Elder Scrolls Online, but how about we put you in a dungeon room and all you can do is fight monsters, and this is the only game we're gonna release for 5 years."
Yeah. Hey, if you give us $5, you can unlock a different color set of armor
Mm.
that you can't see because it's first person.
Yeah, and then we'll bully them into getting rid of microtransactions, but then the
Yeah.
game will fail anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, that
At
was
least
just a
Battlefront 2 came back.
yeah, it did come back, but but it came back and people were but it at the same time though, it was expected. It was the gameplay was already I mean what the game was is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like the difference between the Battlefront 2 controversy, I can't not speak today, controversy, and the Avengers game is Battlefront 2 at its core is a genuinely good game that
Yeah.
just had a lot of meddling with microtransactions and gambling, and
Yeah.
then of course like the crazy hours you had to grind to unlock
Mhm.
characters that they've all removed since then. I think now it's just purely cosmetic stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still loot boxes, but cosmetic loot boxes,
Yeah.
which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
And also they had the Star Wars brand, and like the story mode was pretty good. And like I said, had a really good gameplay mechanics. Whereas
Hmm.
Avengers, it was very much, these are new Avengers that you're not used to with new character models. You have to get used to all the characters and their different gameplay mechanics. When in
Yeah.
reality, it is boiled down to press X and then press B, and then that's a combo
Hmm.
for every character except for
Yeah.
like Iron Man, who controlled like shit.
Yeah.
And then
And
halfway through the
then
game, it just went to missions.
yeah, exactly. And then even worse when people actually were like, okay, you know what, the story mode actually isn't awful.
Mm-hmm.
Give us more. And then they're like, what? Sorry, we couldn't hear you over all these missions. And
Right.
then now it's like, well, everybody's like, well, we're not going to wait for it. And then they didn't. And then
Yeah.
now they've lost millions and millions and millions of dollars. And it's like, this is what you get. I mean,
Yeah.
this is what happens. I don't know whose idea it was to make. I mean, maybe like after a big Avengers game came out. But I mean, you show a trailer like that, a decimated San Francisco, them fighting on the bridge,
Yeah.
and everybody wants to, and everybody's first thought is, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
And then then you get like 1/3 of the way through the game, and you're like, "Wait a minute! Oh, it was nothing.
Yeah.
It's just missions."
Yeah. The game has like 2 legit boss fights. One of
Yeah,
them in the opening level.
and it's just, I mean, it just the like with Battlefront, their priority was to make it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
With Avengers, they never had a big single player Spider-Man type of story for it.
Right.
And so now it's gone. And
Yeah.
there you go. It
You know
happened.
what sucks? It sucks when like all the praise that you can give to the game is that its opening level is genuinely great. When that opening level was debuted 5 months before the game came out and came free with the demo of Avengers.
Yeah. It is
So,
a
and
shame.
then after that, everybody hated it. It
Yeah. Well,
was also a
it,
weird time to release it, considering all the Avengers hype was last year.
yeah, I know, which is like, but they could have kept it going and then they could have made it its own thing if they,
Yeah,
were smart about it.
yeah. It just, if they had started production a little bit earlier and not shoehorned in just a ton of missions and live service shit, and
Mhm.
just focused on making a good, hell, 20-hour single player campaign with a little bit of replayability and maybe some collectibles. Like if they made a game to like the Miles Morales, I'd be
Yeah.
happy. Um,
And
if
like, and
they
I
yeah,
know,
if
sorry.
they did something like that and got it out in May of 2019, a month after Endgame came out, like people will be buying it like nonstop.
Okay, now see, I disagree with you there. I think that piggybacking on the hype of the Avengers movies is not a good idea.
Why's that?
Because they're not the same.
Yeah,
It's not a Marvel Cinematic Universe Avengers video game.
that's a good point, actually. Yeah, that would have confused a lot of
I
mainstream
mean,
audiences.
that'd be like releasing Spider-Man for the PS4 when like Far From Home came out.
Yeah.
They'd be like, well, what? People would see it for what it would be, which is just a marketing scheme to make the
Mhm.
game sell better.
Yeah.
And if anything, that game should have taken longer in production. Um, and I don't know. I mean, I guess the playtesters were really screwing them over.
Yeah. Well, because the playtesters only played the first level,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's a good point.
and they were like, "Wow, this is great." It's like that. The same thing happened when God, what's the game? Uh, Days Gone, I think, for PS4.
Yeah,
And Days Gone is not a bad game. It's not
no.
great, but it's not a bad game. But all the
Lots of
plays,
people say they had fun with it. You know.
yeah. But like all the playtesters were like, "Wow, these zombie mechanics are so cool. I like the bike mechanics. This is great." And then in reality, the game was just so bloated and long. it was like a 60-hour campaign.
Yeah, it was too much.
Yeah.
But
And it
at
took
least
itself so seriously.
yeah, but at least at the end of the day, it wasn't like I could see myself just if it's like on like PlayStation Plus or free on Steam, just
Yeah.
putting it up just to see what it's about, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
But I would never do that with um with Avengers
Mm.
because the time has passed. Yeah, I would never waste my time.
Yeah. Avengers kind of turned into like, remember that regular show episode where they got the game and then they were like, this game sucks, and they tried to return it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Avengers kind of turned into that, like free copy of Avengers with every stick of gum you buy.
Yeah, and then everybody still didn't want it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to question 2.
Okay.
Question 2 is, what is your favorite video game soundtrack or OST? So you get, if you have an answer, go ahead and go first since I went first last time.
God of War's soundtrack is my favorite soundtrack
Mm.
by
I
far.
knew you'd say that. I knew
Yeah,
you'd say it.
but I mean it, and I'm not going to use God of War for my favorite video game
Mhm.
because this I want to focus and just say that the soundtrack is absolutely amazing. They
Mhm.
when they unveiled the game in 2016 or E3.
Was it 2016 or 2017?
I'm pretty sure it was 2016 because I
Okay.
remember seeing a trailer for it summer before high school.
Okay.
And they released that in 2016 E3. They had a live orchestra
Wow.
to um, accompany the game.
Yeah, I didn't know that because I didn't really get into games until like sophomore year.
You know, live orchestra and real singers. It was amazing, and that same feel carried with the game.
Yeah.
And like it was so surreal. I mean, you felt like that you were. It was the most bizarre thing. It was like you were watching a movie, living a movie, and still being immersed into this world.
Mhm.
I mean, everything was just so meticulous and planned out and perfect. I mean, especially when it came to the soundtrack, it didn't miss a beat. It was there when you needed it, and when you didn't, it was gone. I mean, it was just, and the way and then that whole kind of old Norse like throat singing
Mhm.
was all over it. It was beautiful. It was perfect. Truly very underwhelmed. I mean, not very like very unappreciated as a
Yeah.
video game, as a soundtrack in general.
Mhm.
Because with video game soundtracks, you know, if it's not like a core element of the game,
Mhm.
if you can get around it, usually lots of people won't really notice, especially if it's like a great game.
Right. Yeah.
But when you do notice it and it's there, it's amazing. I mean, if it's good enough for me to notice it, then that means it's something special.
Yeah. No, that's a good shout. And if you want to use God of War for the big discussion we have coming up, I'm totally okay with that because I would definitely agree that I would agree with you there.
Oh well,
Um,
I'll probably bring it up, but I don't want to like make a big deal about it
okay,
because it is my favorite game, and I need to talk about other things.
got it. Yeah, no, I totally get it.
I
Um,
could literally like make a whole movie of me just sitting around talking about God of War.
yeah. So my favorite video game soundtrack. I had a lot of ideas for this.
Okay.
Most of them coming from this current generation
Yeah.
because I think, and like you said, with video game soundtracks, an aspect of video games that not many people appreciate, especially compared to like movie soundtracks,
Hmm.
um, is the OST and the orchestral stuff. Because like in a movie, you're watching the movie and you're also hearing the movie and you're listening to the soundtrack. You're like, wow, the soundtrack goes really well with it. But in a game, you're so invested in the gameplay, you don't really focus on anything else.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I had a couple ideas for this.
Okay.
One of them was Spider-Man PS4
Yeah.
because I'll routinely go back and listen to that soundtrack.
Very good
Um,
soundtrack.
because I remember when the first trailer for or the first teaser for Spider-Man PS4 came out. Maybe it wasn't the first. It was one of the big ones. You know the one I'm talking about when I describe it. It's the one where Peter's fighting Doctor Negative, or not
Yep.
Doctor,
Yeah. No.
Mr. Negative,
I know what you're talking
and then
about.
he gets knocked off the building.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that trailer so much.
Yeah.
But the soundtrack in the trailer is really cool because it's like really quiet, and then it comes back in with the da 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 da, like that thing. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
Mhm.
And like perfectly encapsulates Spider-Man. So that was a really good one. And none of these are my top ones. I specifically got a top one. I'm just building up to it.
Mhm.
Dark Souls is a really good one.
All right.
That I've been experiencing now for the first time now that I'm playing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went on Spotify a couple days ago to listen to the whole soundtrack. Because it's all very medieval mixed with like fantasy type soundtrack. And like Gwyn, Lord of Cinder is probably the best piece on there. It's like hauntingly sad and beautiful, and it's really cool.
Mhm.
An interesting soundtrack or an interesting piece to have for the final boss.
Yeah.
So, another one, Prey. I know I've been talking about Prey a lot.
Yeah.
I've finally decided now that I'm playing the New Game Plus, Prey is one of my favorite games ever. I love it so much, everything about it.
Mhm.
Prey, it's got like this really cool like space type theme. If you were to mix like a space soundtrack with like something like Blade Runner,
Mhm.
like a kind of like not space in the way that Star Wars is, but space just like a technology vibe. It's really cool and like peaceful, and I really like it.
Cool.
And then second, like my second favorite
Mhm.
are, and I'm gonna loop these together.
Okay.
Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal.
Yeah. I
Um,
totally get that.
I adore these soundtracks because they're so brutal and chaotic and like off the walls insane
Mhm.
that I love them so much. Like, I don't know if you know, I probably told you, Mick Gordon, the composer,
Mhm.
for Doom Eternal, he recorded the sound of chainsaws and put it through a synthesizer and used that as
You
part of the soundtrack.
you did tell me that.
Yeah, it's so insane and
Mhm.
like, I, kn- you tell someone, hey, make a video game soundtrack for my first person shooter. You could do whatever, just make sure it sounds pretty cool. And he comes back with like, "Hey, I've got 3 minutes to chainsaw."
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? But
Yeah.
also, it's incredible. Um, yeah. But my number one is one I didn't expect to love, and it's from a game that I also didn't expect to love.
Mhm.
Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Okay.
Yeah. So, have you heard of it?
No.
Okay. So
And that's
it's
your favorite.
that's my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice came out in 2017, I believe. Let me look it up. Hellblade release date. The sequel's coming out next year, 2 years from now. Or
Okay.
it came out in 2017. As a Xbox exclusive.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like an indie title. It was made by like only like a dozen or 2 dozen people. Um, but like it looks like a AAA release, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it's similar-ish to God of War in
Okay.
terms of like Norse mythology.
Oh, okay.
Um, so yeah, the plot. I'm not going to go into detail, otherwise I'll spend like an hour talking about this game. Because I love everything about it. It's
Yeah.
a relatively short game. I beat it in about 6.5 hours.
Mhm.
Um,
Cool. Okay.
yeah. I wouldn't say it's got a lot of replayability because there's
Mm.
no side missions. It's a very linear game.
Yeah.
Very very story driven. Um,
Mhm.
but anyway, yeah. So you play as a girl named Senua, who is this girl in uh I'm not really sure where. Just some place Viking times, Norse mythology, all that junk. Um, and she watches her I guess husband, lover, boyfriend, whatever they called it. I think his name is Dillian. she watches him die and gets taken to hell by
Oh.
Hela. And she's like, I need to go save him.
Mhm.
And she's tortured by all these like different spirits and the different
Uh-huh.
gods. In order to get to Hela and save Dillion, she has to kill like 4 different gods and take their signals.
Yeah.
Use that to go into hell without dying.
Mm.
Um, the game itself is actually a metaphor for mental illness.
Oh, okay.
Because throughout the game, like obviously you're playing as Senua and it's a third person action puzzle game. Similar to like Over the Shoulder God of War.
Okay.
So throughout the game, there's these like women like whispering in your ear. I guess like spirits that are guiding Senua.
Yeah.
Like a mix of like guiding and also like just kind of spectating because there's a lot of them that are like, what's she gonna do next? I hope that she makes this jump. I hope that like I think that she's not gonna make it. And there's like 5 or 6 different women doing that. So that's really cool. I played the whole game with headphones on, which made it awesome because I got to hear like the voices bouncing around.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Okay.
yeah, and it's got a really cool mechanic where there's no HUD on screen whatsoever. There's no HUD.
Mhm.
Very cinematic game. But
Okay.
when you're fighting, there's a like a designated block button. But when there's someone behind you, instead of like like in Batman when there's someone behind you and you see like the sparks above their head and that's when you know when
Yeah.
to block. There's
Yeah.
nothing like that. There's nothing like that in Hellblade. Instead, what they do is when there's someone behind you about to attack, you hear the women go behind you, and that's when you can press the button to block.
Mm. That's
So
really
you really,
interesting.
yeah. So listening to that caused me to listen to the soundtrack. So I'm getting back on track to the soundtrack now.
Mhm.
It caused me to listen to the soundtrack. The soundtrack is like some of the most beautiful pieces of music I've ever heard.
Mm.
Like a mix of like determination and trying to save Dillion and trying to fight off this like evil disease that's infecting you, and
Mhm.
getting up, and this mix of that and like sadness of like I've lost everyone I care about. I don't want to keep going. I don't want to live, like stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
it's a really really good mix of like ancient instruments and like also really good like choir. It's just such a good soundtrack.
Mhm.
Um, and like I have a lot of the songs on my orchestral playlist I've got on Spotify. Um, so yeah, not one I was expecting to love so much, but it's fantastic game, fantastic soundtrack. I think it's on Game Pass. So if you haven't played it, I recommend playing it. Like I said, 6-hour game.
Yeah. Very cool. All right.
Yeah. But but also I do love Doom and I love just hearing do 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 do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, my second favorite soundtrack is the Breath of the Wild soundtrack.
Very good one. Yeah.
And I know that's a cliche thing to say because I know everybody likes Breath of the Wild and people who are like, I've never played video games before, but then I played Breath of the Wild and now I'm like, oh, wow, maybe all video games aren't that bad. Yeah, I get it. I know everybody loves it. But that's why the soundtrack is good.
Breath of the Wild, somewhat like ironically, and I'm not disagreeing with you, I love the soundtrack. It honestly had a more restrained soundtrack than most of the other Zelda games because it wasn't music based. Like there was no music based mechanics in it.
That's why, yeah, I know that's why I enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
felt like it stood on its own.
Mhm. Yeah. But no, I agree with that.
So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the big discussion now. Alex, you want to do any sound effects indicating we're going to big discussion?
Big discussion. Woo, 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 woo. Oh my god. Oh
Sweet.
my god, my leg, it's gone. Has anybody seen my leg?
Okay. Okay. Maybe Seth took it. Um.
He's not here.
Yeah, he
Nope.
would take it though.
He would.
Yeah. So big discussion. Our big discussion is what has been, and I'm kind of splitting up in 2 parts. What has been your favorite game of the last generation? So Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and what has been the best game of the last generation?
Mm.
So, do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
You go first.
All right. So I've got, I don't know, because I've got so many games that I've played this generation. Because up until this generation, I had a PS2 and I had an Xbox 360, and I loved my 360, but I came into that generation a little bit late, I guess.
Hmm.
Um, and also being 11 or 12, when I got my 360, there was only so many games I could play.
Yeah.
Um, most of the games I played were Lego games,
Yeah.
and Need for Speed. But
Mhm.
so when I bought my Xbox One, it was the first games console I'd ever bought myself. So I was
Mhm.
super excited, and like I basically bought every game that I own, with the exception of like one or two that I got as gifts.
Yeah.
Um, so this is really where I started to branch out in terms of the games that I played, the style of games that I played. So the best game of this last generation, um, I mean, pretty cliche, but like one of the best that I at least got to watch was gameplay of God of War,
Mm.
and hearing from you the story and the narrative is definitely up there with one of the best games of the generation.
Yeah, I think that it's like a universally agreed upon thing. It's just that, I mean,
Yeah,
very very rarely do we get games like that are genuine masterpieces. But
right. And I didn't really want to say God of War because it's not controversial and fun to
yeah,
say. Because if you were to go up to anybody and say, "Hey, I think God of War is the best game of the last 8 years," they'd probably go, "Yeah, I'd agree with that," or at the
yeah.
very least say, "Yeah, definitely in the top 5."
But then again, for it to be somebody's best game of the generation, it's pretty hard to be controversial.
Yeah, yeah. But another one that I think is one of the best games of the last generation.
Hmm.
Um, uh, Dark Souls 3 is up there. It was a really good return to form.
Hmm.
Same with Bloodborne. Bloodborne is the top of the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Soulsborne. That's what
Hmm.
it is. Soulsborne ladder.
Yeah.
Um, like I haven't played every Soulsborne game. I haven't played Dark Souls 2 and 3, and I haven't played Demon Souls. But of the ones I've played, Bloodborne is the best.
Okay.
Um, no, I did play Dark Souls 2. I hated it. Um,
Oh, okay. Well, he
to
hated
start.
it.
Yeah. So probably God of War, Bloodborne. A lot of these are going to be PS4 exclusives because they had just so many good ones.
They usually do. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, this isn't so much the best game of the generation because it's not, but the best game of the Xbox for the last generation or for this
Mhm.
generation was Gears 5. Gears
Okay.
5 was really, really good.
Well, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. I've never played a Gears game before, right?
Hmm.
Because it came out at the start of the 360 era when I was too young to play Gears. And then by the time I got old enough, I heard Gears 4 sucked, so I was like, I'm not gonna play it. And
Yeah.
then Gears 5 came out, and I got Game Pass for like 3 months for $1. Um,
Hmm.
like one of the promotions. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. I downloaded it. It's such a good game, and
Mm.
considering it's the 5th game in the franchise, I jumped in without, like, any confusion whatsoever.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because they have, like, a recap of what happened in the last couple games, and it also follows a new, or not new, but, like, a new squad that was introduced in Gears 4.
Hmm.
And it's definitely, I'd say it outshines the last couple of Halo games.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
definitely outshines Halo 5. Halo 5 was garbage from what I know.
Mm.
Um, so of the Xbox generation, probably Gears 5 or Hellblade. Um, Hellblade, love it. But yeah, so I'd probably say God of War, Bloodborne, or in terms of most emotional, either Hellblade or What Remains of Edith Finch.
What Remains of Edith Finch is a wonderful game.
Oh, and Breath of the Wild is on there too. But yeah.
Oh, of course.
But yeah,
What
What Remains of Edith Finch.
that is a tightly knit. I would almost say that it was perfect. I mean, it is just so every. I mean, it is just it. It's just very rare that you have a game that it's not too long, it's not too short, it wants to tell a story, and it does that perfectly.
Yeah, it took me like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's short. It wants you to get engaged.
But yeah, my favorite game and of not only last generation but of all time is Spider-Man PS4. So yeah, let's move on to you, Alex. Best and favorite.
Okay, so let's think. I would say that I would say is
Okay.
one of the best games of our generation.
Hi, future Ethan here. So going back through and editing, you cannot understand what Alex is saying right here. He is talking about Super Mario Odyssey. So yeah, future Ethan out.
I mean, I think it's always a given, or at least usually a given when a franchise is redefined. That game turns out to be amazing. One of the very few games that I think most people would call masterpiece. It just completely nails the essence of a Mario game, new mechanics, making new interesting gameplay, and just overall just developing such exciting levels and exciting worlds. And I mean, it just takes it further, the step of making you feel like you're Mario.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Mario fan, but I played a bit of Odyssey and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it seems really great. Obviously, Breath of the Wild is probably one of the best games ever made. And I think, and I doubt that anybody would disagree with that. It's the everyone game,
Yeah.
So that is certainly spectacular.
Have you gotten a chance to play Age of Calamity yet?
I played the demo, and I didn't really like it.
Do you just not like the hack and slash style?
Well, that was part of it. I didn't really feel. I don't really see the point if it doesn't feel like I'm playing as Link. And I know it was just the demo. It just didn't really seem captivating enough for me. I think that like if I owned the game, I'd probably put more time into it.
Yeah.
But I couldn't justify spending $60 for something that I really didn't think. Because it's a Dynasty game, like the Dynasty Warriors game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's what Hyrule Warriors is. It's a spin-off Dynasty game, and lots of people like those games. Lots of people like hacks and slashes and taking on large hordes of enemies. But I feel like while it was interesting and it would do a good amount of world building, I couldn't justify $60 on it, and seeing the demo, it just wasn't sparking anything for me.
Yeah. I own it. My brother bought it the day it came out.
Okay, and
he really likes it. I really like it, but
okay.
I really like hack and slash games.
Uh-huh.
I've played a couple of the Dynasty Warriors games on the way through, mostly just like friends' houses.
Yeah,
and I really liked them. I played Hyrule Warriors. Also, like I like the demo of Hyrule Warriors back in 2014. I really liked that. The Devil May Cry games, which are different types of hack and slash, but still hack and slash, I love. So I really enjoy it, and it's really cool to be able to play as like Zelda and Impa and all that stuff.
Well, maybe since you own it, maybe you'll let me give it a try sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've been playing Mario Breath of the Wild, so
yeah, from I can reassess, from it's just because I mean a demo is a demo. They don't really give you the best overall interpretation of the game, I don't think. Which is why I felt like perhaps that's why I was disappointed, because maybe the demo didn't give me a good example of what the game was like.
Yeah. But yeah. So you said the best would be Breath of the Wild, Odyssey. Anything else?
And obviously God of War, but we've already talked about it. That goes without saying. God of War is probably is I would say is up there with some of the best games ever made.
Yeah, up there with Last of Us.
Yeah, again, everybody agrees with that. Horizon Zero Dawn.
That was a good game. Underrated.
Another one. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see a lot of people playing it, especially because it came out right before God of War and Spider-Man. So maybe not underrated, but
no,
I don't know.
It was very popular. But you're not in the PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe I'm just saying that because I didn't play it.
Yeah, No, it was
underrated because I didn't get a chance to play it.
Yeah, so there you go, everybody. Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was very hyped. I mean, that's the reason my dad bought the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
I
will say I am excited to play it once I buy a PS5.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. And see, and here's the good thing about that. You don't need to feel bad about not being able to get one right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody can.
Right.
Like really, like honestly, it's just I know that like this is in quotes here, but it kind of worked out in your favor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, because you're not having FOMO.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is having the fear of missing out, but because everybody wants one, but you don't. But everybody's now in the same boat as the boat you would have been in, so you're not really missing anything out. I mean, by the time the PS5 is in stock for everybody to buy it, you'll have well saved up enough to get it by then.
Definitely, yeah.
So I guess in some sad but very real ways, it did kind of work out.
Yeah. But I still want to play Miles Morales.
Oh yeah, I mean, but like everybody does.
I need my fix to Spider-Man, Alex.
Everyone does, and nobody can.
I haven't had any good Spider-Man content in 2 years, Alex.
I mean, that's not a very long time.
I need it.
That's not very long time. That's like saying that's the equivalent of saying I haven't heard a good original song in a month. That means nothing.
Wait,
but
have I? Like new song? Yeah, I have. The
Yeah.
soundtrack for Miles Morales.
Okay.
Yeah, This Is My Time by Lecrae. It was really good.
But so yeah, but that's the thing with the PS5. But Horizon Zero Dawn, just really good gameplay mechanics. Obviously female lead, you can't really go wrong there. It's all done very well. I'm gonna get it on PC when I get a new GPU.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty pumped for that. I really want to try it out there. I hope that someday God of War comes to PC.
Ooh.
So I can
I don't know.
experience it not in 30 frames per second. Yeah, and the creative director of God of War 2018 said he would love to see it come to PC. So maybe it will someday. I mean, it's not up to him.
Yeah.
He has no control over that. But
yeah, that reminds me. Another contender for one of the best games of the generation was Red Dead 2.
Oh my god, I
never got to play it. I played a bit of Red Dead 1.
Yeah, Red Dead 2 is fantastic. I haven't beaten it. I probably never will. To be honest with you, but
most people still haven't.
Well, I mean, honestly, I might. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, I'll get back. Maybe someday I'll get back to it. But it's the thing. Like the reason I haven't beaten it is because there's so much to do.
Mm-hmm.
See, and here's the thing with Cyberpunk, at least from what we hear, all the reviewers are saying, yeah, I mean, if you take it for what it is, the game it's kind of a short overall campaign. But once you get yourself invested into the world, do side missions, that overall campaign becomes much larger, much more complex. With Red Dead Redemption 2, there's just so much to do. There's so much to do. There's too much to do, and you want to do all of it. And then on top of that, the campaign is too long. Not in a bad way, but it's too long. I mean, it's so fucking long.
Yeah.
Don't take that out of context.
I'm gonna clip that and put that at the beginning.
Thank you. But it just, I mean, it is just I think so. Twitch streamer and YouTuber Doug put it best. He said, Red Dead Redemption 2 is like going to a 5-star restaurant and eating this. Like, it's just it's great. The steak is amazing, but then they keep bringing you the food.
Mm-hmm.
And after the first couple plates, it's still pretty good. You're really liking it, but then after like the next 10 and 15 plates, it's not so good, and you're getting pretty tired of it. And then you ask the waiter, you say, is there an end in sight? I mean, can I please just have my check? And then he's like, oh well, now we have a to-go service for our food, so you can take your food whenever you want, and you can talk to other people about how delicious our never-ending food is. Something along those lines, and that's all credit to Doug on Twitch. And our friends in not the US, please go follow Doug. Ethan, you should follow Doug too, poser.
I might. Yeah.
You should, poser.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's too much, but it's too much in like a good way.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the campaign of Cyberpunk because I did see a couple of reviews saying that it's got a relatively short campaign, but just the campaign itself.
Yeah,
But literally only a psychopath would play just the campaign of any game.
I know it would like, especially a game like Cyberpunk, where it's like, especially now at this point, they were like, look, we're going 100% in on all of it. We want you to guys have too much fun. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to need too much to do. And then the reviewers be like, actually, yeah, I mean, it's all really interesting, and we're having a lot of fun with it. And then decide to not do any of the other stuff.
Right. Literally the only people that play just campaigns are speedrunners.
Yeah, and why would you speedrun an RPG? It just doesn't make any sense, like, at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess it does make sense.
Like the campaign for Prey is like just the campaign by itself. If you know where you're going and know what you're doing, it would take, I don't know, maybe 10 hours. But the first playthrough of the game that I ever did took me, how long did it take me? 37 hours.
Oh wow.
New Game Plus I'm taking my time because I want to get that achievement where I kill everyone on the ship, and I want to do at least most of the side missions. And I want to take my time and really explore the ship now that I know where everything is. So I'm like, I don't know, a third of the way through the game or so, and I'm already up to 12 hours.
Cool.
But yeah, so no, I agree. Don't speedrun an RPG.
No, yeah. I mean, like, I get like Breath of the Wild if you're doing it for fun or anything, or like if you're doing it for like Twitch, or doing it for the sake of making a video. Sure. Right. But don't like do it for yourself and then be like, oh, I'm done. I'm never gonna play the game again.
Especially don't buy a game, just play the campaign, and then return it saying it was too short. Well, did you do the 40 side missions, or did you just do the main story? Because theoretically, Breath of the Wild, you could buy it, beat Ganon in the first 20 minutes and say, it only took me 20 minutes to beat, and say, there's 400 hours of side missions and other content you could have done.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, that's a very, very small minority of people.
Absolutely. That's just dicks.
Yeah.
And people that don't know what they're doing.
Exactly. You people not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, fuck you.
Yeah.
Go
just kidding.
Go play Breath of the Wild properly.
Yeah. Indonesia. Go play Breath of the Wild.
I don't even think we have any Indonesian listeners.
Well, we will after that.
Definitely. Though they've got a geotag on the word Indonesia.
So
anytime anyone says it, they get notified and they're like, oh, Ethan and Alex said Indonesia. We should probably listen.
Yeah, Ethan and Alex.
Yeah.
No last names.
No, they know who we are.
Yeah, they know who we are. Yeah, we're famous.
I mean, it's got your last name in the Discord tag, the Bradshaw. It's got most of my last name, Stewie.
Stewie, yeah. That's basically the entire thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that was about it. Next week we'll be back with another episode about movies.
Maybe Seth will be along.
Yeah, maybe Seth will be along, hopefully. Alex, do you want to be a mainstay on the show?
That would be dope as fuck.
Awesome. Then I will work on editing you into the cover picture.
Very cool. All right, Ethan, you have a sign-off catchphrase?
I do. It goes something like this has been like tangling up, something along those lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a wrap. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, that's going to sound really good when you put it together.
Absolutely. Alex, you're gonna say bye now?
Oh, bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.